Welcome back, my mutant children. Joining you once again, the one and only Streeborama from MVP, Mutantville, and Mutantville.com. It's a long past time that we brought you an update on this channel, as well as the website, as well as MVP Mutant Radio. Believe me, it's not for lack of trying. It's just that technological bugaboos and issues and hiccups have prevented a lot of those things. For example, if you go to Mutantville.com right now, you won't find it because it got fried by Chinese hackers. I guess about 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago. Yeah, so 15 years of content down the drain. If you ask me, I would not be surprised if our actual web hosts were the ones that nuked it, because they're the ones that wanted us to pay an ongoing exorbitant monthly fee in order to keep it from being hacked. Seems like that should be part of the process already, but unfortunately it is not. Other technological issues include the fact that I cannot do live updates and uploads from YouTube, from my home. My internet connection is just so spotty that videos just drop out. I've tried a couple already today, so if you've seen links pop up that led to nothing, that's what the problem was. Thankfully, those were all tests that I ended rather quickly, but I got to see that out of 50 seconds or 1 minute or so of footage that I recorded, it truncated it into about 6 seconds of footage that actually went up. So what can you do? But where do we start? I mean, because we have a ton of content on this website, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, our old website, everything. So why did we slow down? I mean, there are a ton of reasons. One, there's always a problem with monetization, converting one's time into actual money, dollars and cents. Just got to the point where it did not make sense anymore to keep putting so much time into doing these updates because we weren't converting into sales. I'm not a businessman, so apparently we just don't know how to make that happen. Also, there's the fact that North Carolina, where Mutantville is located, conveniently nuked the entire film industry here. If you remember a few years ago, we hosted the first season of The Walking Dead. Several Marvel films were being filmed here. Hunger Games. The list goes on and on. You're talking about 40-year history. Includes even classic films. The Crow, Evil Dead, what have you. Cabin Fever. But our former governor decided to destroy the North Carolina film incentive that was allowing these companies to come here and take advantage of a tax rebate to film their $300 and $400 million films here. Instead, they did away with that, and all that business went to Georgia. So now if you see all those great videos on how Georgia is the great film capital of the South, well, you're welcome, Georgia, because North Carolina is the one that sent you all that business. I'm going to use this video to try to explain all the negative stuff that we've been having to deal with. Believe me, because the lack of content or updates does not mean in any way, shape, or form that we have not been working or creating or dedicating ourselves to our art forms. It just means that we just haven't been worried about doing all these updates. I mean, you can still find periodic updates over on MVP Mutant Radio. Even there, technological issues destroyed our last review, which was for Solo. We did a really great, fun review for that show. And when I went to edit it and put it all together, there were just a ton of audio issues, and you just can't have that on a podcast that people are supposed to listen to, which is ridiculous because I have a system where I've paid for things, I have a good mic, things are set up properly, and you do an entire, hour and a half recording, and you go back and you listen to it, and the whole thing's got squeaks and bleeps and gargles just through the whole thing, and it just punches you in your spiritual nuts. But that's okay, because that's what life is. Life will do that to you. It will try to knock you down. Sometimes it tries to knock you down from multiple sides at once. So the film incentive chased the entire film community out of North Carolina. So the only people left are little guys like us that are struggling with no money. But now, instead of having this bounty of actors and a pool that we can draw from, or a pool of technical people that we can just draw from, they're all gone. I mean, everybody went to Georgia. Everything's gone. They mission accomplished. They destroyed the industry. So myself, I've been just focusing on things. Spent the last few years really focusing on a particular script. What I wanted to be our next full-length feature, called Star Crossing, which was actually my idea for a superhero film. It was also my attempt to kind of make an independent Dark Knight Returns Watchmen that encapsulated all my thoughts on the superhero genre. But after I got the script finished, nobody wanted to shoot it. Meaning nobody in MVP. Nobody wanted to dedicate the time or effort or money to it. So just, it is what it is. So I wrote the script, and the whole idea just died on the vine. So again, that was kind of depressing, but not to be deterred. Picked up, kept moving on. I've been focusing on working on several graphic novels, so that way I can kind of take all matters into my own hands, do the writing, the drawing, and all that. Other technological nonsense that's been going on. I mean, our Twitter got hacked, aside from the Mutantville website getting nuked. I mean, like, if you look on our banner, it has the Twitter symbol here and MVP. We don't have MVP anymore. I mean, I signed us up for Twitter, roughly in 2007 when it popped up. That's how I was able to get that handle. And I mean, we potentially could have sold it, but we got hacked, and somebody just stole our handle, changed our name, and Twitter's like, oh well, looks like you changed your name and they took it. End of story. So there you go. What can you do? Twitter didn't give a shit. And there was nothing we could do about it. Although the guy Tyler that did it, dude, if I ever run into you, you're going to wear it. You're going to straight wear it. I follow your Twitter because you stole my MVP, so we know who you are. Personally, I just had a bunch of nonsense go on in my own life, where the job that I'd been working for about 8 years came to an end, and had relationship troubles, had a pet die. And last year I was in a head-on collision that easily could have killed me. It messed me up pretty bad, where my body has accelerated a lot of the arthritis pain that I have already accumulated from over the years, and hurt my feet, hurt a whole lot of things. And I've been going through kind of the recovery process of that. So that's a lot of fun. If you've never been in a head-on car collision, I don't recommend doing that. Just somebody pulled out in front of me, smashed right into them. That was on the way to the Mad Monster Party. That's one of the positives. I mean, we have been keeping that going. The Mad Monster Film Fest. Here you can see one of the trophies, Mad Monster. Unfortunately, I don't get to have those made every year because we don't charge anything for the festival. So any kind of promotion or materials that we have made for it, come out of my pocket. So at the end of the day, it's like, we get within 6 weeks of the show, and I'm like, yeah, do I really want to drop $75 to $100 on having trophies made? And it's like, no, I don't. So, sorry, guys. I don't know. I'll try to fix that for you next time, but what can you do? Aside from that, just kind of been overtaken with this general disappointment in the fan community as a whole. There was a time I felt like the fan community, at least in the horror community, and maybe in part like the comic book community, was just kind of a really positive place. People were excited to communicate with each other and share ideas. But it just quickly quickly changed. People became closed-minded. They, at least in my view, they just kind of want to venerate things that are the same and not necessarily challenging or new or different. In the horror community, I felt like the fans really started to kill the entire industry and the community itself, because I just thought it was unforgivable, kind of how they kind of ganged up, starting with Rob Zombie's Halloween, and didn't even wait for the film to come out before condemning it, which I just thought was unacceptable. I mean, that's just not how the artistic process works. At least let the work be created and come out, and then hate it. That's fine if you have that reaction to it, but don't decide beforehand, because you stole a copy of a script from somewhere that you never should have had to begin with, that you don't like the direction that it's going to go. So that was kind of like the 1-2 punch, that and people's reactions to George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal, and Romero's last really great film. And horror fans, it just seemed to kind of go right over their head. And there's no point in me being part of the community anymore. It's like, forget it. I mean, people are just, all they care about now are remakes, making their own fan films, and being a part of cosplay. And I think a lot of that just has to do with they're intoxicated with the idea of doing something that they can do. Like, oh, wow, look at this awesome Ash from the Evil Dead cosplay. Well, I wish I could do that too. That makes us brilliant. Or the same thing with fan films, where it's like everybody's like, oh, wow, look at my Friday the 13th fan film, or Jason, or Freddy Krueger fan film, or, just take your pick. And people are like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm like, no, it's not, because what we're doing is we're rewarding and applauding a paucity of creativity, creative bankruptcy. Because especially at the independent level where we are, where nobody's making us do anything. You can make anything you want, come up with any idea you want, and the possibilities are limitless. And people want to throw all those possibilities out the window and make another Jason film. It's like, really? Come on, guys. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Inside your head is white hot molten imagination. If you're an artist or creative person of any type, it's your responsibility to put it out there. Shape it into something that hasn't been seen before. Make it something new and exciting for the world. That's what Mutantville's about. Now, I can understand people that want to pander to certain crowds by doing fan films. Unfortunately, people that I consider friends do that from time to time, and I just kind of stay quiet about the whole thing. I mean, if they ask me for an opinion, I'll tell them what I think, but for the most part, I don't really say anything about it. They would rather pander to an easy crowd rather than risk running the risk of failing, of creating something original, whether it's Mutisha the Movie Goddess, Ghost, C for Chaos, Tales from Mutantville, Scarecrow at Midnight. There's Mutisha, by the way. Instead of creating something new, they want to pander. They want to be a part of this remakeism trend. What I actually think is kind of a virus at this point, the remakeism virus. And it's disappointing. So, rather than being a part of all that, letting myself get further and further disappointed in what people are doing out there, just focus on what we're doing. Focus Mad Monster Film Fest, because I love it when we do get original works in. It gives me a chance to see creative, imaginative works from other filmmakers out there, and then gives me the chance to showcase those at the convention during the festival part of the show, and give those people a chance to talk to a crowd that loves genre works and that sort of thing. And that's real positive. That every year gives me a lot of strength, a lot of energy, and I always see somebody's work that just inspires me to go on and to work harder and keep going. Some of the positives that come out of this, The Blind Eye Looks Within. We finally finished another short film to ostensibly to build towards another Tales from Mutantville 2 collection, which might include some version of Buddy Row. I think there are about 4 or 5 versions of it. We'll have to ask Brento which version is the definitive version, because that was something we all worked on together. He wrote and directed that. Who knows what else? We've got a bunch of other scripts that we might shoot. Some that we're talking about going into pre-production on right now, as a matter of fact, because I literally just finished the second draft for Ven. Check it out. Ven, VNN. 15 pages, short film, and that's the next one. But right now, we're enjoying the fruits of our Blind Eye Looks Within labor. Check that out. It's a newspaper article. It came out earlier this year promoting our work. There you can see Scott Thomas as Jim. He's the lead in The Blind Eye Looks Within. It's more science fiction than horror. Science fiction, and not in a way that has like laser beams and laser swords and whatnot, but in a way that it takes kind of a concept or two, like such as the end of the world, like Last Man on Earth, or Omega Man if you're a Charlton Heston fan. That sort of thing, and kind of runs with it and says, well, okay, here's some of the kooky things that could happen in this sort of end of the world scenario. So that's fun. So The Blind Eye Looks Within is just now getting to hit the festival circuit. I'm not going to talk about that too much now because I want to break that off into its own video to start the promotion for this festival run of The Blind Eye Looks Within. Because I don't want all that attached to all this negative stuff that I'm telling you now. And even though I'm talking about negative things like, almost dying, having our Twitter stolen out from under us, having our website hacked and nuked, growing troubles, getting turned on by various communities, people hating us because I have the balls to say that you shouldn't waste your time on fan films, but instead make something original. All of those things they're still positives that can be turned around because you take that energy and you focus it into your work. And just like there's no need for the outside world. That's always been the job of the artist as the creative shaman of the imagination, to see the problems of the world and to take that and go into the cave, go into the hut, go into the sweat lodge and sweat it out and battle the demons and visions and find the answers deep in the earth, deep within oneself, and then to bring that light forward, shine it on a new day, lead the way into the future. So that's what I've been doing. Been working. You may not have known that I work on comic book stuff. Like, for example, here's a nice little piece of artwork that my friend John did when we were working on Timelines that I was co-writing with my friend Kirk Jones. Unfortunately, never got finished. He drew everything but the last 2 pages, and that was it. It's like, gosh, what can you do? So that's why I'm writing and drawing my own graphic novel now, so I don't have anybody else I have to lean on or blame for whatever. You might be happy to know that the 3rd issue of Sleaze Fiend magazine came out recently. You can get that online. Check that out. I think there is a dedicated URL at sleazefiend.com. There's old Sleaze Fiend number 1. I love these old digest size, like the old Gore Score. That's what makes me happy to be part of something like that. That maybe somebody years down the road will discover a little torn up black and white copy of Sleaze Fiend magazine and read my article about it, or read my article inside, which if you do read it, you'll hear a lot of the same thing I'm saying right now. From Easy Rider to Sweet Sweetback's badass song, The New Millennium of Mediocrity. Talking about exactly what I'm talking about right now. Filmmakers not challenging themselves and settling for the easy road. But at MVP, we challenge ourselves. That's why we're keeping on. You might have thought we were gone, but we're still here, still alive, still kicking. Just to prove it, I'll show you. Here you go. There's a little mini Streebo right there. Eyes so full of joy, wonder, so naive. But look, writing, drawing, all those characters. I remember so many of them. all the way back then. I was creating ideas, creating stories. So something that's always been a part of me and something that's never going to end and is going to continue to carry me forward to the end of time. And I will say that I was pleasantly surprised to come and read some of the recent comments here on YouTube. That about 95% of them were actually positive, and I was like, wow, people have been watching C for Chaos web episodes or watching our old interviews or reviews and responding positively. I couldn't believe it. So that's always good. That's always very heartening. Now, if only we could get people to go and review our films and leave like a positive review for that, that would just be brilliant, because people do watch them and they do enjoy them from time to time. But man, the only people that will take time to leave a review are the ones that hate it, that feel just personally offended by everything. I mean, my goodness. If you watch one of our films and you just hated it, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. You have every right to share your opinion, so go for it. But man, somebody out there, if you like our stuff, please leave us a positive review somewhere, whether it's on Amazon or IMDb or whatever. Man, indie filmmakers just struggle to get some positive recognition. But fortunately, we don't live or die on the words of our peers. If that was the case, I would have rolled up and laid in a ball a long time ago. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to do it. I'm going down fighting. That's the way we are at MVP. Real artists, 4-dimensional artists, 5-dimensional artists even, stretching all the way through time. A multi-headed hydra. It turns from this little boy you can bully into me, which you cannot bully. Totally different beast now, but I'm still the same thing at the core. So, Blind Eye is coming. It's coming. And hopefully we'll be starting our next short film very, very soon. Well, within next year or whatever. I mean, there's no rush on it. Want to get those together to get another installment of Tales from Mutantville put out. If you like MVP, if you want to support us, pick up a copy of Tales from Mutantville from Amazon. Leave us a review. We'd really love it. You can find us on Twitter, not at MVP, because we were hacked and had that stolen, as I mentioned earlier, but at MVPLAYERS. That was the handle we were given by our hacker, and so I've stuck with it. MV Players. Personally, I'm at JTMCROBERTS. Where am I? Right there. Right there. There's the lovely Mutitia hanging over me, as always. And for now, the Mutantville.com URL redirects to Facebook, which is a horrible thing, because personally I hate Facebook. I hate listening to people whine on there every single day. Just want to be positive, man. Be positive, people. Focus on the positive. Do what you got to do with your lives. But if you're an artist, if you're a creative person, just don't give up. Don't let the world drag you down. If you're disappointed, if you're angry, if you're disgusted, take that energy with you. Go back into your cave. Work with the molten steel of imagination and shape it and work it. Just like Conan's dad said, in this life you can't trust men, you can't trust women, but this you can trust. Steel. Imagination. That's what MVP is all about. See you next time.